Princess Luna wants ice cream. Vegetables, the bane of most ponies when it comes to dinner time. In Princess Luna's case, they're her kryptonite. Lucky for her, she has a sister who's willing to make her a special sundae. Unlucky for her, her sister's Princess Celestia. Written by Virgo22.
Ice cream, a frozen food every pony, big and small, adores. In fact, they adore it almost as much as they adore their parents, their dog, and their personal hygiene. The hygiene one only goes for some, though. Year-round, this delectable treat is consumed by ponies of all ages so often, one may dare call it unhealthy. These ponies have no idea what they're talking about, though, so we'll just disregard what they say and pretend that their degrees in health are just forged. What isn't forged are the statistics about who consumes ice cream. Ponies of all ages, be they 5, 10, 20, 1,000 years old, devour this frozen beauty all day, every day.
No!
Case in point, Princess Luna, a millennia-plus old alicorn who decided throwing a temper tantrum in the royal dining room would be the best way to convince her sister that having some of this brain freeze-inducing stuff is the best way to convey an argument.
But Celestia, I want some ice cream.
Woo-woo, I've said it before, not until you finish your vegetables. Celestia replied as she pushed her sister's dinner plate back over to her. Now finish them, and maybe you can have some ice cream. Luna, like any younger sibling, especially ones who were banished to the planet's nearest neighbor, wasn't having any of her sister's reasonable sass and pushed the plate away.
Dearest sister, I will not have any of those wretched carrots.
She protested.
Especially since they're so bitter.
Celestia rolled her eyes at her sister's protest. As much as she loved Luna, she questioned why she always insisted on eating her veggies with sour cream and sauerkraut. Well, what if you eat 5 more carrots? Celestia asked with a warm, almost motherly smile. For me? Luna shook her head. 4? Luna once again shook her head. 3? Luna yet again shook her head, now sporting a frown on her face. 2? Take a guess. 1?
Silly! I will not have another vegetable!
Luna shouted, her voice echoing throughout the room.
Now give me my ice cream, or I'll crash the moon into the planet!
Celestia face hooked, enough time to give any other pony concussion. Luna, why must you always make those ridiculous threats like that? She said. Seriously, I know for a fact you won't do it, and so do you. Celestia sighed and lowered her head in shame.
I know.
Celestia got up and walked over to her sister's side. So, will you eat your veggies now?
Of course not, dear sister. Can I have my ice cream now?
Celestia fell backwards. She covered her face with her forelegs and let out a long groan. 1 vegetable, she said as her legs slowly went down her face. Just 1. That's all I ask.
Not now, not ever.
Luna replied.
Now if you don't get me my ice cream, I'll get it myself.
As those words exited Luna's mouth, an idea hit Celestia like a meteor hitting the planet, without the whole burn up the atmosphere thing. But the less said about Luna burning up, the better. Okay, Luna, Celestia said as she stood up. You can have your ice cream, but allow me to get it.
Really?
Luna asked, a childish smile on her face. Somehow, she'd become ignorant to her older sister's sudden willingness to get her Equestria's favorite summer food. Yes, really, Celestia replied. Now, I'll be right back. With that, the Princess of the Sun made her way to the kitchen, a devious smile on her face. The royal kitchen, a place filled with the finest foods, china, cooks, maids, and princesses preparing to prank their sister on the face of a quest. Okay, let's see, Celestia murmured as she looked through the royal refrigerator. Bread. Why is there so much? Who needs this much bread? Your Highness, you asked us to stock up on bread after you ran out of it last time, when you wanted a sandwich. A nearby cook, his coat as blue as the sky, said. Remember? You practically had a meltdown over it. Celestia blushed and sheepishly chuckled. Oh, right. she said. Anyways, where are the sandwich condiments? Behind the bread? Celestia removed several loaves of bread, which nearly created a small pyramid. Aha! She exclaimed happily as she pulled out some of the mayonnaise, mustard, whipped cream, and a bottle of water. Now to pull off my beautiful plan. What plan? Look, all that matters is that I make Luna some ice cream. Celestia replied as she located down a bowl. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna do just that. With mayonnaise? Mustard? Chef, if you don't leave the kitchen now, I'm going to make you eat this too! The chef cringed at the thought of having to be anywhere near Celestia's cooking. In a flash, he left the room, leaving behind his hat, which floated in the air for a fraction of a second before it was levitated by Celestia onto a regal mane. Ah, now I'm all set, she said gleefully as she got to work on preparing the single most unappetizing thing that had ever disgraced the face of Equestria. Bar none. From an outsider's perspective, either a tornado worthy of an F6 label had torn through the royal kitchen, or Celestia had just made a meal. And done! Thankfully, no pony would have to listen to Twilight's eulogy today. Yes, what had started as a bowl of ice cream covered in condiments and whipped cream had grown into a full-blown sundae, complete with the aforementioned ingredients, but now with hidden vegetables and salt. Because there's one thing that makes ice cream better, it's salt. My masterpiece is finished, Celestia said as she looked up at the thing that loomed before her. When Luna's done with this, she'll never steal my ice cream ever again. She shook her head and blushed, unaware that no pony was around. She'll also no doubt eat her veggies when I tell her to. With a ridiculous amount of concentration, Celestia levitated up the behemoth of a sundae and made her way to the royal dining room. Oh, Luna! The princess of the sundae yelled from behind the monolithic abomination of stomach aches. I have your ice cream. Much to Celestia's shock, dismay, and bewilderment, Luna had eaten an entire bucket of ice cream and was now fast asleep on the floor, the spoon and bucket right next to her. Luna! The princess of the ice cream shrieked. How? Celestia placed the giant structure/frozen treat on the floor and fell backwards. How did I not see this? Luna groggily opened up her eyes.
Oh, Tia.
She yawned and sat up.
I got tired of waiting and figured you'd fallen in the bathroom again. So I got the ice cream myself.
Luna continued. Her eyes then landed upon the thing that her sister had somehow made.
Oh, is that for us?
No, it's for you, Celestia stuttered, the mere thought of having to eat that thing being enough to make her heart race and her stomach turn into a black hole. All for you, my dear sister.
Nonsense, Sally. I insist we share this. Besides, it's far too big for me to eat alone. I'd explode if I tried to do that.
She scooped some of the thing up for her sister and pushed it against her. Celestia gulped. She looked down at the ice cream that amassed an unfathomable amount of mayonnaise and mustard, which itself was covered by enough whipped cream to bury Ponyville. The mere thought of consuming this made Celestia gag repeatedly.
Are you okay, Tia?
Luna asked softly as she scooped some of the thing up and put it in her ice cream bowl.
Are you feeling ill?
Yes, Celestia lied unconvincingly. I just have a tickle in my throat. Celestia raised an eyebrow and shook her head.
All right,
she said as she took a large spoonful of the abomination.
This is lovely.
What? Celestia asked, her eyes practically leaping out of her head.
Yeah, this is amazing. Try some.
Luna exclaimed as she took another spoonful of the thing. No, Luna forced her spoon into her sister's mouth and smiled mischievously as her sister's facial expressions changed a dozen times in the blink of an eye, 11 of them being expressions of unrelenting disgust. One of them was a realization as to just how utterly messed up this whole situation was, and that she no doubt was going to get no sleep that night.
So what do you think, dearest sister?
Luna asked with a smirk. I've tasted toxic chemicals that taste less vile than this, Celestia thought as she chewed the horror show of a sundae. She shuddered as she swallowed the garbage she dared call a frozen treat and forced a smile. It's delicious. Luna chuckled.
Do not lie, Tia. I know you wanted me to not enjoy this,
she said as she took another spoonful. Celestia's face turned a beet red. She gulped and shook her head. No nonsense, Lulu, she said. I would never do that. I would never make you eat something so horrible.
Oh, come on, Celestia. You've made me eat carrots for breakfast, lunch, and dinner because you said it was better than a bucket of chocolate. That was almost as terrible when I was Nightmare Moon.
Celestia rolled her eyes. Yeah, sure, Luna, she said under her breath as she watched her sister take out another spoonful of the dumpster fire of a sundae. How many quests are you not sick of this yet?
I question how you're sick of it, Sally. This is absolutely heavenly. I must know, whatever did you use?
Celestia raised an eyebrow. Well, I used mayonnaise, mustard, salt, and water.
What else?
Luna asked as she took another spoonful, this one containing a small orange object in it. Suffice to say, this triggered a primal instinct inside the Princess of the Night, an instinct normally associated when one feels they're in danger. Needless to say, what qualifies to danger for Luna wasn't quite the same as her older sister.
What was that?
She shrieked as she spat out the ice cream.
What was it?
Celestia gulped. She'd seen her sister overreact to vegetables before, many times. I never should have messed with Luna's ice cream, Celestia thought as she prepared to tell her big-eyed sister the unholy truth. She cleared her throat before she calmly said, well, I added some vegetables. Celestia wasn't sure what was worse, the sound of her sister shrieking as it violently assaulted her ears, or taking the full brunt of the monument-sized sundae to her face. Either way, Celestia was sore, very sore, everywhere. She was also freezing and yearned for the heat of the outside world as she lay buried underneath the ice cream. Thankfully, just above the mountain of the frozen delicacy, she could hear two royal guard ponies talking.
So, how are we supposed to get Celestia out from underneath this?
Asked one of the royal guards, unsure if what he was looking at was ice cream or a ski resort inside the royal dining room. I don't know. Should we have Luna eat it all?
Are you kidding?
Asked the other guard.
She hasn't left her room since she got us an hour earlier. Let's just leave this for a night guard to deal with. They'll have to do this work removing it manually. Besides, our shift ends in a few minutes.
The other guard responded. He sighed and shook his head. Celestia moaned from beneath the ice cream as she heard the guards walk off. It was going to be a long night. I scream, you scream.